My boyfriend died on a Thursday. At least, that's what everyone told me. For context, my name is Ava. I'm 26. And for 3 years, I dated a guy named Noah. He wasn't just my boyfriend. He was my best friend. The kind of person who remembered tiny details. The kind of person who could tell something was wrong before I said a word. We had plans. A future. An apartment we were saving for. A dog we'd already named. Then one Thursday morning, I got a phone call. Unknown number. A police officer. The second he introduced himself, my stomach dropped. Nobody gets a call from the police at 7 a.m. for a good reason. Then he said Noah's name. And everything after that became a blur. Car accident. Highway. Fatal injuries. Instant death. I remember dropping my phone. I remember screaming. After that, nothing. The next few days felt unreal. Funeral arrangements. Family members. Flowers. People constantly telling me how sorry they were. Everyone kept saying the same thing. He wouldn't want you to be sad. Which is a horrible thing to hear when the person you love is dead. The funeral was held 4 days later. Closed casket. Apparently the accident was bad enough that nobody was allowed to see the body. At the time, I didn't question it. Why would I? His parents were there. His brother was there. Everyone was grieving, including me. I cried so hard I nearly passed out. After the funeral, I spent weeks barely functioning. I stopped going out. Stopped answering calls. Stopped talking to most people. Then, 2 months later, something happened. Something impossible. I was standing in line at a grocery store, just trying to buy coffee, when I saw him, Noah, walking past the front windows. My heart stopped. I dropped the basket I was holding. Coffee exploded everywhere. People started staring. But I didn't care, because Noah was outside, alive, wearing the same black jacket he'd worn 100 times before. I ran outside immediately. Noah was gone. Just gone. No sign of him anywhere. I searched the parking lot for 20 minutes. Nothing. Eventually, I convinced myself I was grieving, hallucinating, seeing what I wanted to see. It happens, right? That's what I told myself, until 3 nights later. I woke up at exactly 2:17 a.m. No reason, just suddenly awake. Then I heard my phone vibrate. One new text. Unknown number. No message, just a photograph. My hand started shaking before I even opened it, because somehow, I already knew. The picture was taken that same night, outside my apartment, and standing across the street was Noah, looking directly at my bedroom window. Alive. Under the photo was a single sentence. Stop looking for me. Stop looking for me. I stared at the message for what felt like an hour. My heart was pounding so hard it actually hurt, because there was no way Noah was dead. I'd attended his funeral. I'd cried over his grave. I'd spent 2 months trying to figure out how to live without him. Dead people don't send text messages. I opened the photo again, zoomed in, then zoomed in more. Every part of me wanted to find a mistake, a clue, proof it wasn't him. But the more I looked, the worse it got. The black jacket, the scar on his chin, the way he stood with one hand in his pocket. It was Noah, or someone who looked exactly like him. Then my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered immediately. Who is this? Silence. Then breathing. Slow breathing. I froze. Because I recognized it. 3 years together does that. You learn the tiny things. The way someone laughs. The way someone walks. Even the way they breathe. And somehow, I knew that breathing. Then the call disconnected. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. The next morning, I drove straight to the cemetery. Part of me felt stupid. But another part needed answers. When I got there, everything looked normal. Flowers. Headstones. Fresh grass. Noah's grave was exactly where it should have been. I stood there staring at it, trying to convince myself I was losing my mind. Then I noticed something strange. The dirt. It looked wrong. I know that sounds weird, but after visiting the grave almost every week for 2 months, I knew what it looked like, and now something had changed. There were fresh footprints around it, recent ones, and in the center of the grave sat a small white envelope. My name was written on it, Ava. My stomach dropped. Slowly I picked it up. Inside was a photograph. Another one. This time it showed Noah sitting inside a diner. The timestamp was from the day before. He was alive, smiling, drinking coffee, like nothing had happened. Written on the back were 4 words. You're getting closer. I nearly threw the photo away. Instead, I drove directly to Noah's parents' house. If anyone knew something, it had to be them. His mother answered the door. The second she saw me, her face changed. Not sadness. Fear. Actual fear. And suddenly I knew something was wrong. Where's Noah? I asked. Her face went completely pale. Ava? Where is he? She started shaking, then looked over her shoulder. Like she was checking if someone was listening. When she looked back at me, there were tears in her eyes. And then she whispered the last thing I expected to hear. You need to stop asking questions. You need to stop asking questions. I just stared at her. Because that wasn't the response of a grieving mother. That was the response of someone terrified. No. Her eyes filled with panic. Ava, please! Where is Noah? She looked over her shoulder again, then stepped outside and closed the door behind her. Like she didn't want anyone inside hearing us. My stomach dropped. Because Noah's father was supposed to be home. So why was she acting like this? Then she grabbed my arm. Hard. Ava, listen to me. No, you listen to me. I pulled the photograph from my purse. The diner picture. The one from the day before. The second she saw it, all the color drained from her face. She looked like she was about to faint. Where did you get that? My heart nearly stopped, because she wasn't questioning the photo. She wasn't saying it was fake. She wasn't asking if it was edited, which meant she knew. She knew exactly who was in that picture. He's alive, isn't he? She started crying, and that was all the answer I needed. I took a step back, unable to process what was happening. Noah is alive. She covered her face, still crying. Noah is alive. Then she whispered, I thought they would leave you alone. They, not he. They, my stomach twisted. Who? But before she could answer, the front door opened. Noah's father stepped outside. The second he saw us, his expression changed. He looked furious, not surprised, not confused, furious. What are you doing here? I held up the photograph. His face instantly darkened. Then he looked at his wife, and I swear I watched genuine fear pass between them, like they'd been caught. Then he did something that made my blood run cold. He grabbed the photograph, ripped it in half, and threw it into the yard. What the hell? I shouted. You need to leave. No. His voice became deadly serious. Ava, leave. For a split second, I was actually scared of him. Then his wife suddenly shouted, Tell her the truth. Silence. Complete silence. Both of them froze, like she hadn't meant to say it. His eyes widened. Her hands covered her mouth. And that's when I knew there was a truth. A big one. Then his wife started crying harder and whispered, It wasn't Noah who died. The world stopped. I actually felt dizzy. What? Noah's father looked like he wanted to disappear. His wife was shaking uncontrollably now. Then she said, The body wasn't Noah. I couldn't breathe. What are you talking about? She looked directly at me and quietly said, They made us identify him from photographs. Every hair on my body stood up, because suddenly the closed casket funeral made sense. The rushed identification made sense. Everything made sense, except one thing. If Noah wasn't dead, then whose funeral had I attended? Before I could ask, my phone buzzed. Unknown number, one new message. Just 5 words. Your turn to disappear. Your turn to disappear. I stared at the message. My hands were shaking. Noah's parents were standing right in front of me. Neither looked surprised. And that terrified me, because it meant they'd seen something like this before. Who sent it? No answer. I held up my phone. Who sent it? Noah's mother started crying again. Then she whispered, They know you know. The words hit me like a truck, because suddenly this wasn't just about Noah. It was about me. Then I asked the only question that mattered. Where is Noah? His father finally answered. Alive. I nearly collapsed. Hearing it out loud made everything real. The funeral, the grave, the death certificate. All of it had been a lie. Then I heard an engine. All 3 of us looked up. Black SUV. The same one. The vehicle stopped directly in front of the house. Nobody got out. The engine kept running. Noah's father's face went white. Get in your car. What? Now. I ran. The second I got inside my car, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered immediately. And froze. Because it was Noah. Actually Noah. Ava. My eyes filled with tears. Where are you? No time. His voice sounded terrified. Then he said, You have to leave. What is happening? Long pause. Then Noah said something that made my blood run cold. The person buried in my grave wasn't random. I stopped breathing. What? Another pause. Then, it was somebody connected to you. Every hair on my body stood up. What does that mean? Noah hesitated, then asked, Ava, have your parents ever talked about your brother? I froze, because I don't have a brother. At least that's what I'd always believed. What? The line went quiet. Then Noah whispered, You did. I couldn't breathe. My parents had never mentioned a brother. Not once, not ever. Then Noah said, Check your birth certificate. My heart stopped, because suddenly I remembered something. When I was 12, I found old baby photos in the attic. Photos that weren't mine. When I asked my mother about them, she took them away immediately. I never thought about it again. Until now. Then Noah said 4 words that changed everything. They lied to you. The call disconnected. A second later, a new text arrived. Unknown number, 1 image. I opened it, and immediately felt sick. It was a hospital record. 2 newborn babies, same birthday, same parents. One marked, Ava. The other marked, deceased. Underneath was a message. He wasn't deceased. He wasn't deceased. I stared at the screen, over and over, hoping I'd somehow read it wrong. But the image didn't change. 2 babies, same parents, same birthday. One marked, Ava. The other, deceased. My brother. The brother I'd never known existed. The brother my parents had apparently hidden from me my entire life. Then my phone rang. Noah again. I answered immediately. Tell me what's happening. For a moment, he said nothing. Then, Your brother isn't dead. I gripped the steering wheel. So where is he? Long pause. Then Noah answered. And I immediately wished he hadn't. Ava. What? I think he's the one behind all of this. Silence. Complete silence. Because suddenly every piece fit together. The photographs, the messages, the surveillance. Someone had been watching me for years. Not a stranger, family. Then Noah explained. Months earlier, while investigating the fake records, he'd found a name connected to nearly everything. Different aliases, different identities, but always the same birth date. My birth date. Because it belonged to my twin, the child officially declared dead, but never actually buried. My brother. The realization made me sick. Then another memory hit me. When I was 10, I asked my father if he ever wanted another child. He looked uncomfortable and said, "We already had one too many." At the time, I didn't understand. Now I did. My brother hadn't died. He'd been taken away, removed, erased, and somehow spent the rest of his life watching from a distance. Then Noah said something else. "Ava, I found out why he contacted you." My stomach dropped. "Why?" "Because he was dying." I froze. "What?" The answer shattered everything. My brother had terminal cancer. Months to live. The photographs weren't threats. They were proof. Proof that he'd been there. Watching birthdays, graduations, relationships, an entire life he wasn't allowed to be part of. Then the text messages made sense. The grave, the funeral, the warnings. He wasn't trying to hurt me. He was trying to force the truth out before he died. Tears filled my eyes. Because after all this time, he never wanted revenge. He wanted acknowledgement. Then Noah quietly said, "He died yesterday." The world stopped. I never met him. Never spoke to him. Never even knew his name. And now he was gone. Then my phone buzzed one final time. Unknown number. One last message. Attached was a photograph. Me, age 5, playing in a park, taken from a distance. Written underneath were 7 words. "I always watched over you, Ethan." Ethan, not Noah. My brother's name was Ethan. I started crying immediately. Because after months of mystery, that was the cruelest twist of all. I spent my entire life believing I was an only child, when the truth was, someone had loved me from a distance the whole time.